let's move on and let's go talk about these new hostels. Because they are a little bit cheeky. So here's your new space, which is intended to look like the ribbon, I think, the wave. You're starting at Viridian, which is the Star Trek Generations movie focuses around. You'll notice in the original graphic, you've got like 3 or 4 different pictures of Q, along with Soren, who I'm sure we'll see as an officer somewhere later. Here's the Nexus ribbon, that's right around Viridian 3. This is obviously where Kirk and Picard end up together, trying to stop him from destroying the whole system by blowing up the sun. So, this first entry system right here, the hostels aren't just regular old people who give regular old materials, so skip that system and head on into the higher level ones. This is where you'll actually get to the new assimilated ships, which each have different buffs. Boosting isolytic damage, and then it gives itself what it needs to. So if it needs morale, it does that. If it needs hull breach, it does that. Boosting critical hit chance. And then the battleship here also has an ability which it gives you burning, and then it boosts its weapon damage as well. So they all have special abilities, kind of make them a little bit of a pain to fight. I will say, much like the Mirror Universe hostels, they're all. I was going to just take a peek in, but much like the Mirror Universe hostels, these particular guys, they drop a little bit themselves, but they also drop loot chests, and you actually end up getting a lot more currency out of the loot chests than you do from actually killing the things. So punching down is actually fine. If you're normally hitting, whatever your ops level is at, I'd be hitting 54s or 56s or whatever, I'll go down, I'll hit some 50s and 52s. I'll get a little bit here and there, and then I'll go claim the loot chests and get more than enough to do my pull. So we'll go take a look at some of these guys. And see just exactly what we're dealing with here, what we're up against. In the meantime, do I have some away teams? 10 minutes. We'll come back. Napalm's wondering where to get the second fragment. Well, you click right up here. Exchange into Chaos Materials in the Continuum Refinery. Get more when you acquire excess Chaos Tech shards. So basically, it's kind of like transporter patterns, I think, where it's like an overflow currency for this second refinery. Like you have to have the tech and have it all kind of like maxed out or something before this happens. But if we just go look at some of these hostels here, they're big. They are certainly big. We're talking about 900 million at level 50. And if you look at just what I'm getting here, 215. 215 is pretty small, right? I think my daily chest pull is like 30,000, so it'd be a lot of kills I would have to do if I were going to do this particular thing just from the loot. But I killed one of each, and we'll look at the battle logs in just a second. If we go, what's in the chests? Well, right now I just got 3,600. So I got 1,200 apiece from each chest. And killing the 3 of them got me 1,200. So certainly getting way more value out of the loot chests there. And as far as actually killing the hostiles, we're taking them down pretty quickly. They have a lower base damage, but it scales up significantly because of their abilities. Ooh, this is pretty weird. What the heck is going on there? That's making me dizzy. We're not even going to look at that. That's really annoying. But if we come back down here, tactical probes, faction stuff. So we were killing some of this other stuff earlier as I was sort of working my way through. You know, we're killing the 50s, we're taking very little damage, we're getting a small amount of credits and currency. But the fight itself not really going all that long, 1 or 2 rounds before their damage really has the opportunity to rank up. Because that's what they want. The longer the fight goes, it's giving itself, every time it hits with a weapon, it's giving itself a 15% damage boost. And these things have a pretty 2, 3, 4 weapons. It also doesn't say that it's limited to each time. So I think each shot may actually count. So it certainly has the ability to get some. We're starting off here at 2.5. And you can see this weapon damage is starting to scale up a little bit. Before that one ends up actually getting destroyed there. We move up, we look at some 52s that I was fighting earlier. Again, now we're going up to about 1,000 per kill. Fight's going a little longer here. We're into 3 rounds now. And it's starting off, 3.5. Now they start throwing some criticals in there. Getting some more damage. Now the damage is scaling up a little bit. Now we're over 4 million a hit. But still not too unreasonable. And I was having a good time with the 52s. And I said, all right, let's go try some 54s and see what happens. Took a lot more damage against a 54. Significant jump in power here. You're talking about going from 2.1 million at 52, or billion rather, with a B, at 52, going up to 54, where now basically it's doubled. Now we're at 4.2 billion. What's up, RSD? And now that fight's going 5 rounds. And now I'm taking some bigger shots, and I'm taking more of them. And these things have a pretty decent amount of hull health, because even now, they've got no shields by the end of round 1. Their shield's gone. And it still takes me 4 more rounds of some pretty big hits to finish this thing off. They have a lot of hull health. I don't know what's up with that. That's really annoying. But if we can try and look at hull health, 6.6 billion. Oof. Lots of big hull for sure. I didn't even go up to try the 56s. These things were taking a good amount of shields all the way down, taking the hull health, good chunks of it, pushing it into a 5-round fight. I was like, I'm just going to stay here and kill a bunch of these for a while. And I was quite happy with that trade-off. But just to look at what we're getting in terms of individual loot off of a target versus the loot box, we can go back and look at a couple of 52s and 54s here. Big hull, they made it to counter Harrison crews. Could certainly be. Could certainly be. Booty says that the 58s give 1650. Is that from the chest or from the actual drop that you're getting? So these guys should be dropping about 650. But I've got a little bit of loot crew here, so I'm getting over 1100 or so on the 52s. And if we go look at what's in our chest, well, now we're getting 4,000. So instead of getting 1,200 a box, I'm getting 4,000 a box. So for me, just farming some 52s would be fine. I'm not taking a lot of damage. I'm getting 1,200 per kill with, 5 of 11 as captain. And I'm getting another 4,000 per box. I'm getting about 5,200 per kill. And I need 30,000 to do a single chest pull. I think the double pull is like 175k or something ridiculous. Unfortunately, I can't see it. But I think that's what it was. I think it was like 30,000 and like 175,000 or something like that. So if I wanted to keep pulling this stuff, this would be the way to do it, right? Just rank down a little bit, find something that I can just settle into that sweet spot and just grind it a little bit to get more of the loot chests. Lex took out the 62s and got 35,000 per chest. Got over 6.5 million in one run. Lex, at your ops level, what's your refinery pull like? Booty was killing 58s, got about 1,000 or 1,500 base amount, and then another 9,000 in the chests. Okay. So yeah, I mean 9,000 in the chest for killing a 58 versus I can get 8,000 by killing two 52s. And probably taking a little less hull damage in the process. And obviously I'm sure there's a pattern here with, hitting with the triangle or against, staying within the triangle or whatnot. Somebody was saying earlier that it seemed like going against the triangle seemed like it was working better for them. I don't know. It seems about even, I guess. About the same amount of damage lost there. Let's go hit a battleship. Interceptors are the easiest. That's good to know. Let's go hit a battleship, see what happens. Yeah, it took a little more shield health, a little more hull health. And that one still went 3 rounds, but I feel like those hit a little bit harder. 4, 5, 8. Versus this one, the interceptor here, that did 4, 4, and 5. It had to crit to get 8, so yeah, I feel like staying away from the battleships might just be a better way to go. And whether it's they hit harder, or whether it's the burning, or whether it's their special ability that triggers off the burning, because they're getting a weapon damage bonus plus the burning, whereas this one's getting an isolytic damage bonus, and this one's getting a boost in critical hit chance. It's getting a 10% boost in critical hit chance. If you end the fight in the first round or two, that really hasn't had a chance to scale up yet. So it would make sense that, yeah, the interceptor ability, if you can kill it fast enough, isn't really adding a whole lot. Maybe they'll sneak 1 or 2 extra crits in there along the way, but probably not adding a whole lot toward you. Denver's using Picard plus Data and Phlox. If you just negate their crit chance, that's for sure. And then obviously having Phlox, Picard and Data for extra loot could work just fine, plus the extra isolytic damage to kill them faster. Seems pretty solid. Who do I have lower deck? It's probably Hugh, Torres, and Paris. And Chapel. Should most likely be there. It's pretty much just standard that I use for everything these days. Do I like these more than Silence? Yes, for one very simple reason. They all use the same currency. Pelia might help too. I think I have her only at tier 1, but she might be a better use than possibly negating damage versus doing more with Chapel. But yeah, we can farm a bunch of these guys, pull a bunch of chests. 68,000 right there. That's 2 days worth of pulls. If I just want a single chest pull, that's 2 days right there. And since the only reason you're doing this is to get these upgrade materials for the new tech, if you don't have any of the new tech, or you don't like any of the new tech, this isn't even like something that you really have to engage in. This isn't, there isn't a lot of big benefit coming out of this mechanic yet, because there's only 4 techs, and several of them you have to buy. And there's not a tremendous amount of value in those techs yet. So other than the occasional event that's going to pop up requiring you to kill these things and possibly do anything with the loot you get off of them, I don't know that a lot of people are going to do a whole lot with this mechanic just yet. So, Officer Picard wondering about using Tucker to help lower their crit reduction. As Denver Stone points out, they have their other ability here. Hostiles' critical damage cannot fall below 150%. So they do have a damage floor, which is what Tucker would stop, in which case, not really all that beneficial. But Phlox will still work because he'll take away their critical hit chance. So basically, nothing should ever critical, because the fight should end fast enough. If you kill him in 2 or 3 rounds, you're fine, because Phlox works for 8. So those are my thoughts on the new hostiles and this whole new mechanic. What do you guys think about it? Lloydson says just stock up and for one day, and eventually maybe you'll need it. That seems to be what other people were saying earlier, and I'm kind of in agreement on that, right? The initial techs aren't that great. I mean, you'll pull some materials. If you get a tech or 2 for free, you'll upgrade them for events. Get some Syndicate XP or ship parts, whatever else they happen to be throwing your way. Speaking of events, we didn't look at those yet. Is it this one? Yeah, so if you have any of the Chaos Tech and you upgrade it, it's an SLB that's giving out ship Syndicate XP. Like, that's what you're competing for. That doesn't seem like it's worth buying to me. And the SMS for upgrading the tech just gets you more upgrade materials so you can upgrade the tech a little faster. But we looked at the tech at the beginning of the show and weren't that impressed with any of them. So that all seems like a kind of a wait and see kind of thing. You know, do a few events here and there and just worry about it later.